My brothers in this. Y'all this nigga black my eye, man. I don't want to talk. Go get my shake back. Go get it.
NBA Youngboy, really out here moving like the boss of a small army. And this time it looks like he turned that energy on one of his own closest people. Footage hit the internet showing Youngboy straight up putting hands on Ben 10, and fans are still arguing about what they just watched. This wasn't some little backstage argument that cooled off in 5 minutes either. It turned into a real fight, and reports say Ben walked away with a swollen black eye and then got kicked clean off the tour right after it all went down. That's not just a disagreement, that's a full fallout. What set it off makes it even crazier. Word is, Ben 10 accidentally sat on the chair where Youngboy had his designer stage outfit laid out, wrinkling the clothes right before the show.
I shoot for my clothes. Shoot! My fucking dad! Ain't no fit for my clothes.
In the leaked clip, you can hear YB snapping, yelling, talking to Ben like he's an enemy, not somebody he grew up with. People who were around say that shouting match didn't just stay at words. It turned into a heated fistfight, the kind that can split a whole camp down the middle. This isn't just drama for gossip pages, it's showing how rough things might really be inside that 4KT circle. And it's not a pretty picture. To really understand how wild this is, you gotta know who Ben 10 is to Youngboy. Ben 10, real name Benjamin Fields, is not some random hype man trying to ride clout. These two came up together out of Baton Rouge, from the same struggle, the same streets, the same early grind before the fame really hit. They went through court cases, beefs, studio nights, and tours side by side. Ben was in videos, on stage, on the road, part of YB's inner circle from the beginning. When YB was locked up or stuck in legal situations, Ben 10 was one of the main ones holding it down, repping 4KT like family, not just business. That's why this fight hit so different. This isn't two strangers bumping heads. This is basically family turning on each other in front of cameras and crew. And according to people close to Ben, this didn't come out of nowhere at all. It's been brewing for a long time. People around Ben 10 are saying he'd been getting tired of how Youngboy talked to and treated his own team for a while now. Allegedly, Ben felt like he earned his respect, but YB still talked to him like he was a little kid who could be checked anytime. That kind of energy starts to weigh on somebody after years of loyalty. Over time, that disrespect builds up in your chest. When pride and pressure mix too long, all it takes is one small moment for everything to explode. So when Ben 10 sat down backstage and accidentally wrinkled that custom stage outfit, it wasn't just about clothes anymore, it was about all that built-up tension finally snapping. It all happened backstage right before the show, when everyone's already on edge. Youngboy had his expensive designer fit laid out on a chair, custom, hand-picked $1,000 look for that night's performance. Ben 10, tired and trying to chill for a second, sat in the wrong spot and wrinkled it without even thinking. Witnesses say YB saw it and went from calm to heated instantly. In one viral clip, he's heard barking on Ben like, "You said what I told you about my clothes. You my little daddy? Nah. Fuck that. My clothes." Except a lot more intense in tone than some fans expected to hear towards somebody that close to him. That video only shows the start, but people backstage claim the situation got way uglier off camera. They say Youngboy didn't stop at the clothes. He started bringing up old issues, past arguments, and embarrassing comments, all in front of the whole squad, like he had something to prove. At that point, it stopped being about wrinkled fabric and became about power. It felt like YB was reminding everybody in the room who runs things, making sure nobody even thought about stepping out of line or talking back to him. That kind of public check-in hits different, especially when it's coming from someone you considered family. Finally, Ben 10 couldn't hold it in anymore. Sources say he fired back and told YB straight up, "I'm tired of being disrespected. I'm not gonna keep taking this," drawing a line right there in front of everybody. That one sentence was like lighting a match near gasoline. The moment those words came out, everything shifted. Youngboy reportedly lunged at him, and that's where the real chaos started. The part that turned a simple mistake into a major turning point for the whole 4KT camp. The footage that leaked shows the start of the physical part. YB charging straight at Ben 10 and throwing the first punch clean across his face. Ben looked caught off guard, stumbling back and trying to cover up while Youngboy kept swinging, throwing more wild shots as the room just froze. The wildest part of the whole thing, not one person from 4KT jumped in to break it up at first. They weren't pushing them apart, weren't grabbing YB, weren't pulling Ben away, nothing. They just stood there watching their own homie get beat on by the boss like it was normal. That silence said a lot without a single word. It showed how deep that power dynamic goes. When people are that scared to move or speak, it means they're more worried about staying on the good side of the one in charge than protecting somebody they call family. Ben's safety didn't come first, Youngboy's temper did. The fight finally stopped when security rushed in and pulled YB back, but by then the damage was already done. Ben 10 was left with a black eye, a busted lip, and his pride shattered in front of everybody he thought would ride for him. Getting hurt is one thing. Getting hurt publicly by someone you trusted is a whole different level. What came after made it even more cold. Instead of trying to fix things or cool down, people close to the situation say YB doubled down and started calling Ben 10 disloyal and disrespectful, saying he couldn't have anybody around who didn't know their place. That's a hard label to shake once a boss stamps you like that. Right after that, they say Ben 10 got kicked off the tour on the spot. No sit-down conversation, no second chances, no deep talk about what really happened. His access pass, gone. His spot on the bus, gone. Overnight, he went from being one of Youngboy's right-hand men to being fully cut off from the whole camp. All that history, all that loyalty, all those years of standing beside YB, wiped away over one wrinkled outfit, and a moment where he finally stood up for himself. And what really stung was how the rest of the crew reacted, or didn't react at all. Instead of pulling YB aside or checking him respectfully, they just followed along, staying quiet like Ben really deserved to be embarrassed and tossed out. That doesn't look like brotherhood, it looks like fear. The type where people are so worried about losing their position that they'll watch something wrong happen and still stay silent. Fans who've been watching YB's circle for a while started connecting dots fast after this fight went public. This situation with Ben 10 felt less like a one-time mistake and more like part of a pattern people had been whispering about for years. According to multiple folks close to the camp, this wasn't the first time Youngboy allegedly put hands on people around him. They claim he sometimes treats his own team more like employees or soldiers than brothers, disciplining them whenever he feels disrespected. DJ Academics himself once said that when he visited Youngboy's house, he saw YB snapping on his homies, yelling and even putting hands on them, comparing it to a father disciplining his kids. But a lot of people who heard that felt like it sounded more like a power trip than leadership. It's like YB doesn't always see the people around him as equals or partners in a business, but as people he needs to keep in check to maintain control. When one person holds all the money, the fame, and the opportunities, it gets easy for things to turn into domination instead of teamwork. Remember when Lil Dump popped up online with a busted lip and blood on his face, and everybody started speculating what happened? A lot of fans suspected something went down behind the scenes, but Dump never publicly confirmed or denied anything. That kind of silence doesn't always come from loyalty. Sometimes it comes from fear and not wanting to lose everything tied to the camp. The Ben 10 fight just brought all those quiet rumors to the front door. Now people can actually see what might be happening when the cameras usually aren't rolling. And the scariest part isn't even the punches. It's the way everyone else around reacts like it's just another day. Like the boss getting physical is part of the job description. From the outside looking in, it seems like Youngboy might be sending a message with moments like this, whether he means to or not. That message sounds like, no matter how close you think you are, he's still the one in charge, and he'll remind you if you step out of line. And when someone controls your money, your status, and your image, it gets way harder to stand up for yourself without risking it all. From a business point of view, though, this looks like self-sabotage in slow motion. Ben 10 wasn't just a friend. He was part of the brand, part of 4KT's image and story. Losing somebody like that over something as small as wrinkled clothes makes the whole operation look unstable and emotional instead of strong and solid. Once that clip of the fight hit the internet, it stopped being just crew business and turned into something way bigger. Now it's not only about emotions and loyalty, it's about legal risks too. What reportedly happened to Ben 10 isn't just rough behavior. In the eyes of the law, that kind of thing can be seen as assault, especially when it's caught clearly on video. Youngboy is not just any regular person either. With his history and reported legal situations, even a small new case could turn into a serious problem. When somebody already has a record or is under court watch, footage like this becomes exactly the type of thing that can get pulled into courtrooms later. Prosecutors wouldn't even necessarily need Ben to speak up. Sometimes video evidence alone can open doors. And that's not the only angle. Ben 10 could choose at any point to go the civil route and file a lawsuit over everything that went down. Assault, emotional distress, lost income from being taken off tour, all of that. With YB's level of fame and reported money, that could turn into a major payout or settlement. One moment of ego and anger could end up costing serious cash. From a business standpoint, this is the kind of drama that brands and promoters hate seeing. No company wants their logo next to a viral clip of an artist hitting someone on their own team. That type of image makes sponsors nervous and makes people in suits start rethinking deals, canceling appearances, and backing away slowly. To make it even more painful, social media turned Ben 10's worst moment into a running joke. Instead of a lot of people feeling bad, timelines filled up with memes, edits, and comments clowning him, like getting hit by someone you trusted is just content for laughs. That kind of reaction shows how normal people act like violence is entertainment now. It also shows how violence in hip-hop gets praised sometimes instead of checked. Instead of saying, yo, this went too far, some fans hype it up as keeping people in line or being real, like there's nothing wrong with it. Every time that gets glorified, it tells artists it's okay to treat their circle wild as long as it keeps their tough image up. Meanwhile, Ben 10 has to live with that clip following him. Imagine your lowest moment replayed millions of times, turned into a meme forever. That kind of public embarrassment doesn't just disappear. It can mess with your pride, your mental health, and your confidence for a long time. And at the same time, Youngboy ends up looking less like a powerful leader and more like someone who can't control his temper when things don't go his way. When you strip everything down, this whole situation raises one big question. What does loyalty really mean in YB's world? Ben 10 gave years of support, stood beside him through legal problems, beefs, and comebacks, and still got shut out the moment he spoke up for himself. The second he stopped just taking the disrespect, he was labeled disloyal and pushed out of the circle. That shows a different kind of loyalty, not the type built on mutual respect, but the kind built on control. It feels like YB doesn't just want loyal friends, he wants followers who won't question him, no matter what happens. Real loyalty goes both ways. You look out for each other, even when you disagree. But in this setup, it seems like it's his way or no way at all. The way the crew reacted proves it too. When Ben got swung on, nobody stepped in, nobody defended him. Nobody even tried to calm things down in public. They just watched like they already knew the rules. Keep quiet, don't challenge the boss, and hope you're not the next one in the hot seat. That's not respect, that's survival. But structures built on fear never last forever. You can only push people down for so long before something cracks. Either they leave, they speak out, or they stop caring altogether. Once that happens, the whole operation can start falling apart from the inside, no matter how successful it looks from the outside. This whole situation shines a light on a bigger problem in the culture too. Too often, bad behavior gets rewarded as long as the music is hot and the numbers look good. Violence gets turned into entertainment, and people suffering behind the scenes get laughed at instead of supported. That makes it hard for anyone in those circles to step away or tell the truth. For Ben 10, even though the betrayal hurts, stepping out of that shadow might end up saving him in the long run. He's got a chance now to rebuild his name, his sound, and his life away from a system that clearly didn't value him the way he valued it. It'll be tough, but it might be the best move for his future and his peace of mind. For Youngboy, this moment could follow him for years, in business rooms, in legal files, and in how the public sees him as a man and a leader. You can win a fight and still lose something way bigger, respect. Once people stop believing your loyalty goes both ways, it's almost impossible to get that trust back. At the end of the day, this whole story is a reminder that power without emotional control can destroy everything around it. You can build an empire on fear, but eventually, cracks show up. And when the people who helped you rise start walking away or turning against you, no amount of fame can fix the damage that's already been done.